The next session is Rising to the Challenge, Doing Well by Doing Good. And it's my great pleasure to introduce the Rising Talent, the 10th anniversary of the Rising Talent. The Rising Talent is an initiative that Egon Zehnder, EY, and Eurazeo have supported for the last 10 years. And at this occasion, we have produced a little research to better understand the aspiration and expectation of rising talents. So we have a panel full of rising talents, moderator and 3 speakers are going to join us, and then the partners will share their vision of the future of leadership. Please join me in welcoming Alyse Nelson, President and CEO of The Vital Voice, with her speakers. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And also, I just mentioned, I'm thrilled to have been a rising talent, or still a rising talent. I think I'm still on the rise. And also here with my fellow rising talents to explore this research and shed a little bit more light on it. Some of the research really surprised me, quite frankly. As you know, this research was commissioned really on the 10-year anniversary to dig into, for the rising talents, you know, what are our aspirations? What do we see as our successes? And what do we see for the future? So let me start off by introducing the panel here. First is Jessie Tolkien. Jessie is head of labs and executive director of Purpose Climate Labs. She is a rising talent from way back in 2011 at the global meeting. Next to her is Lorena Guillé, and she is Director of Corporate Social Responsibility at Cinepolis and Executive Director of the Cinepolis Foundation. She's a newer rising talent. She'll be officially named a rising talent in Mexico next month, and I'm looking forward to being there as well. And finally, Gisela Pinheiro. She is Brazil Vice President for Functional Materials and Solutions at BASF, and she is here making her inaugural debut as a rising talent here at this meeting for South America. So welcome to all of you. Let's dive right into the research. One of the first pieces of the research was really around, do the rising talents feel supported in their leadership track? And what I found particularly compelling is that many of them did not. And I want to really dig into that because I think we've got it up on the screen, only 20% of rising talents believe that women are encouraged to really pursue leadership roles as much as men. And so I want to really dig into that. Gisela, we all know that there's so much value in advancing women as leaders. That's well documented. I certainly know it from my work at Vital Voices, working with women across the world, that it's such a critical issue to have women leaders. We know that it makes companies better, communities better. Shed light on how we get more women to believe that they have support or encouragement to lead change.
I would share that there are 2 things that are key to enter to a path of leadership as women. And one is self-confidence, and the other is passion for what you are pursuing. And what about, how many times have we believed that we are just lucky to have, to be in the right place at the right time, to apply to the position, or to have your dream job, you know? And it's not about luck at all. It's about your work, and we need to start believing on that. And about self-confidence is about your ability to believing that you are achieving the results and that you are taking action on that. Constantly in the work, we can see how we lack of confidence, but the men have an honest overconfidence, you know? We over-prepare for meetings, we rehearse, we even, you know, to raise your hands in a board, it's time consuming. And what is important here is that we need to start switching how we act as warriors and become warriors. We need to realize that when you get prepared to any space of your work, you are able to achieve the results. And that even though, our brain is different between men and women, we need to to understand that we can have better habits to have confidence, but we need to elevate our determination to take risk, to really, take the results in your hands.
I've definitely seen that risk-taking can be really amplified through both a network of your peers, but also really you can feel emboldened to take risks by having mentors. And I want to move to you, Gisela, just around the issue of mentoring. This is, if we could go up to the next statistic here, one of the results of the study. The next one? Yes, there we go. This surprised me as well. 71% of the rising talents, yes, believe networking with other women is effective, but 25% of the rising talents believe that women are more effective than men, which means a very large portion of them did not, as mentors. And that surprised me because I'm a product of mentoring. I have so many great role models at Vital Voices. We do a lot of work around mentoring. So talk a little bit about how we encourage more women to be mentors and mentees.
I think making reference to the survey, I'm background in finance, so just simple finance, 25% of women are not as effective, only 25% as effective. I think it's a correlation of few women in leadership. So I think it's probably somehow the situation that we are at right now. To the network piece, I believe women should continue to network, but not only with women. I think what we are trying to do here is really create a bigger space for us, but at the same time, we don't want to exclude men or other minority. I think the whole beauty of network is diversity and bringing people together. On the mentor piece, I think honestly believe the mentorship, it's like how you relate better to a mentor and what stage in the career you're at. I had mentor men, mentor women. I actually before had reverse mentoring, which has a great impact. And that's where we should begin having more women. So if we don't have enough women in leadership to be the top-notch mentors, we should start them doing reverse mentoring. I was actually a mentor of a CEO of a company.
And explain what reverse mentoring is.
Reverse mentor, you're young talent. I was 25, and I was mentoring the CEO of the company. So it's really getting the
I need a 25-year-old mentor on technology,
so
by the way.
So having the young mind to very experienced CEO, so really you can get both the women piece and now also the generation piece. Yeah. So I think this will prepare us women to become better mentors. Well, I believe we already are, but we need to conquer our space.
And there's great statistics about how if women are mentored, like 80% of them will go on and mentor others. So it is very cyclical. So I think it can be really powerful. Jesse, I want to turn to you. You, with purpose, it's a for-profit business, but yet has a real social bent. I know that's extremely important, as we can see from the next slide here, that making a positive social impact is really important to the rising talent. So talk a little bit about how you've been able to do that in your career.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very lucky because I get to wake up every day. I get to dream and breathe and sweat and be inspired by social impact. Purpose is in the business of building and supporting social movements all over the world. And we've built a global business around that. We are addressing issues like climate change and the refugee and migration crisis, the role of women in emerging economies in the global south. When I look at this number, I'm really proud of this number. I think in reality, it's probably even higher. So why is that? Why, over the course of 10 remarkable years of this program, are 71% saying they're defining their success based on achieving positive social impact? Because that's what these times demand of us. I think we are emerging as a cohort of leaders during unprecedented challenges in the world, to our economy, to our physical environment, to our safety as women. And so what I see emerging is it's no longer a choice. It's no longer, I'm going to succeed in my business over here, and I'm going to try to create social impact over here. There is a necessity that we bring together these core facets, that we integrate them. And I'm pretty excited as women increasingly move up that ladder of opportunities inside companies. As we have more and more leadership roles, I think we will see an even more highly evolved, integrated approach of doing business that has positive social impact baked into its core.
Fantastic. A lightning round now to just close it up. In our 3 seconds remaining, I'd love for each of you to just give one idea that you have about how the rising talents potentially could work together. I mean, it's an incredible group, 50 different countries represented across every single sector, 200 women strong. How can we all work together on maybe one core issue that would have social impact? What ideas do you have?
I would love to have like a collaborative problem solving, you know, like this talent together working for a cause that moves us all as humanity would be just amazing. We need to put all that talent into action.
Great.
Yeah,
Gisela?
I agree. I think it's a multiplier effect. We are talking about over 50 countries, and we can all come here and just kill our WhatsApp group after you're done, or we can actually do something.
Yeah.
So it would be great to just have a meaningful common cause, but I think towards our personal life, back to our homes and the place we work, we have a big impact in community and actually trying to bridge personal life, network, and personal wishes in order to have a better education system, better, less inequality, and so on.
Jessie?
The amazing poet, June Jordan, I believe coined the phrase that we are the ones we've been waiting for. And I think that is so relevant when we think about the rising talents, and in fact, this entire Women's Forum. What I want us to see is to leverage the intersection.
Right.
Rising talents come from the corporate sector, the NGO sector, the creative sector. And I love thinking about the ways we're leveraging what our businesses bring to bear, what our innovation bring to bear, to address challenges within our countries, to continue to lift up women's leadership to problems, and also to push back sometimes when we don't think things are headed in the right direction. So I'm excited to live out June Jordan's vision of that phrase with my fellow rising talents.
I love it. I love it. And I want to actually bring up to the stage now to close this discussion the 3 partners who really made this program possible. And the 4 of us have a challenge for the 3 of you, which is that we would love to see you support us to do a big project together. So we'll put you on the spot with that. And first we have Sylvie Magnan. She is talent leader at EY. And then following her, we will have Evelyn Seven, partner at Egon Zehnder, and finally Virginie Morgan, deputy CEO of Eurazeo. Thank you.
Hello everybody, so I'm Sylvie Magnan from EY, and with EY we joined this Rising Talent program 3 years ago, program initiated by Egon Zehnder, Evelyn, and Eurazeo, Virginie. And what I want to reflect is what is the impact this involvement can have in your own organization. Of course, being part of this program is very exciting to be part of the selection, see how this highly successful women connect each other worldwide. So it's a great moment, of course. But more than that, my point is that focusing outside your organization may have impact in your organization. We all know how it's difficult to promote diversity strategy in organization, to speak fair representation, fair promotion, equality. So it's give rise to tension, frustration, discussion. And when you focus on a great program like that, Rising Talent, so it's external. So first it's quicker, it's to have on board your management. And then to have your on-board men and women. And this program, at the end, this energy, this selection, this promotion, in fact, you see the benefits inside your organization. So that's what I wanted to add, the participation to this Rising Talent program.
Thank you. So I would like, as Egon Zehnder and being part of this initiative for already 10 years, to give an address to rising talent in particular. because I find you, again and again, very thought-provocative. And why so? Because I think your generation is built on something which is wonderful, which is a wonderfully paradoxical nature. And because you're aspiring and working to have it all at once. And this ability to deal with paradoxes is precisely for me what leaders need to have to be able to cope with complexity, if not chaos at some point in time. So we all know, and we heard about this, about everything, we need to be more agile, more collaborative. Isabelle Cocher spoke about it. To navigate with uncertainty, all those things, while we have to be decisive, are dealing with serial ambiguity. So those are paradoxes. And listening to you, young leaders, you embrace it. You are, for me, very tribal. You're always seeking the wisdom of the crowds. And you are able to move at an unbeatable speed. You can also at times be awfully demanding. As you combine, for me, a very acute sense of personal identity and an equally important quest for purpose. And you talk a lot about purpose. I never heard any executive talking to me like you do about, career has to bring social impact. This was something very new and made me think. Now, what I believe, again, to finish, is that we're all increasing, we are very worried about, what's happening to the world, climate change, inequality, energy, and food shortages. But there is one type of energy which is vital, and which is the psychic energy, and this is something that you indeed have. So please, you have drive, desire to push the boundaries, ability to dream and dare with almost no limit. So please continue to be daring and compassionate, dreaming big while grounding in the mix of pragmatism and aspiration. Those are, for me, wonderful paradoxes.
Thank you, Evelyn. And I'll have the privilege to close, not to close the program. It's been 10 years, and we certainly intend to continue to support and add amazing talents to that program. Gisela, Lorena, Jessie, I think you have a lot in common. You're super creative, you have a lot of strengths, you embrace responsibility like, a lot of us didn't dare embracing at your age. And all of this, you're citizen of the world for some of you, but really you have citizenship as a very core of your values. You're responsible, and this is, you find that as a common in the selection of all our rising talents. So that's really what you are collectively. I think our conviction, Evelyn, Sylvie, myself, our companies, Eurazeo, Ernst & Young, Egon Zehnder, is that diversity and mixity, we're not looking for diversity and mixity just for ethical reason. We're looking for diversity and mixity because we are absolutely convinced that it does drive a better performance. That's the motto. And we're not here for, other reason. 10 years ago, when we initiated the program, there was two ideas, very simple idea. The first one, Evelyn and I and a number of other who are here around us today sort of supported all to launch the Women's Forum. And the idea was to give a voice to the younger generation. So we created the Rising Talents and started to select young, innovative, game-changing, women across all sectors, ONGs, business, you name it. And the second reason 10 years ago was that we were absolutely convinced that because the world evolved through cooptation, men only co-opt men, which, it's not a critic, it's just the way it happens because that's their surrounding, that's who they live with. So the networking is absolutely key also for that reason for women, which is to make sure that you have a voice and that in your own, in your own surrounding, you can make your own network and evolve through that structure. 10 years later, and that's today, so we're super happy to celebrate 10 years. We're talking more than 200 rising talents. We have 13 today, so they're right here. Please applaud the new rising talents. I think we have 50 of you are around. I can see Philippine here, so we're going to, you'll stand up in a minute so that we can see you all. 50 countries we've mentioned around the world. We've organized around 20 events outside the Women's Forum for our rising talents over time, across the world, in Shanghai, in London, in New York. And we really aim at making sure that there's more and more content in this network so that you really feel part of it. We're super proud, you can sense that, super proud of the 10 years. And I think, we're very proud of you as women, extremely proud that you dare to lead and you dare, to make the changes happen. So I can't wait to see what you're going to be changing and what's going to be your impact in the next 10 years. We're following you very closely. Thank you very much. You can be proud of you. Can all the rising talents rise? So that we see you all in just 2 minutes. Yeah, here they are.